start our presentation. This is our version of morning roundup today. I'll be bashful. Welcome everybody to our grand opening of the Reconnected Rib Lake segment. We've been looking forward to this for how many years? 15 years we've been looking forward to this and working hard to be able to enjoy this beautiful day. So happy the weather held out for us. There was a better day than it was all week for the cruise. Thank you for being with us. And when we think about opening a section, especially one that's almost 4.5 miles, we think of, how do we get here? And everything we do as an organization, whether it's protecting land or taking youth groups out hiking or giving those presentations, it all leads to this. It all is about this, the trail. So we are tickled pink to be here in a trail community of Rib Lake, one of our 19 trail communities. I shouldn't have said that with a questioning voice. 19 trail communities. They're just adding up so fast.
You're just the executive, right?
Yeah, what do I know? So I was checking in. Well, how are we doing meeting our mission? How are we doing to getting to this? And so far this year, we have opened approximately 10 miles of new trail, not including all the reroutes and other things we've done, the brand new trail. We are, yes. We are on track this year to open 15. Well, Dave did say pretty near 15. So I said, well, we can always add a couple blocks in Lodi where I live to make that reach 15. But overall, 694.6 miles of Ice Age National Scenic Trail are open to the public as of today. So we're really happy to add that here. We couldn't do any of this work without our volunteers. So all of you that have chipped in today or yesterday, this week, weeks prior, anywhere you are, thank you for your work. You are the blood and the lifeblood of this organization. So thank you for your work, your selflessness, and giving back to those future generations. And I mentioned this before, but getting to this point takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work in the background. And I'd like to call out my colleagues and friends at the Ice Age Trail Alliance staff. Please wave your hands, stand up, take a bow, do something fun. Yeah, Professor, come on. Thank you. Sleepless nights, early mornings, thank you. And of course, we couldn't get here without our board of directors, so I know we have several board members here with us today. Can you please raise your hand and take a round of applause? Thank you.
I take care of it.
Yeah, all right.
I'm stealing my thunder.
I'm trying to steal all Kevin's lines. These are the folks that approve all these purchases. Approve all the, you're saying yes, go forward. When we come to them with a big plan and say, we want to do this, they say, okay, go do it. And here we are today. So thank you, board of directors, for your support. And with that, I have to stage exit over this way because I have to go pick up some very important guests for our next phase of this party. And so I'm going to be leaving, but I'm going to hand the mic off to my colleague, Kevin, who's talking with Melissa. So thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the trail and shoot a few short moments at the Rush Preserve.
Thanks, Luke. As Luke mentioned, I am the Senior Director of Land Conservation for the Ice Age Trail Alliance. I have been with the Alliance for about 22 years, doing a variety of work. Most recently, for the last 15 years, working only in Rib Lake to reestablish this thing. Not true, but kind of true. And so I was asked to talk a little bit about what it took to get to this point. And I think all of you go out and work or walk the trail and enjoy it, and oftentimes, and hopefully if we're doing our job right, I think most of the time you don't know necessarily whose land you're on, and that's a good thing, right? You're out to enjoy the property, and we sign it in a way that hopefully you stay on the trail and don't get lost too much and find your way off the trail. But we do pass through a lot of public and private and other lands along the way. And this is no exception here. So in 2008, Luke mentioned we lost this trail. The landowner, one of the landowners, we were on there with a handshake agreement, and he said, get off. And so the very next year, Buzz and Butch and others went out and removed signage. I mean, painting over yellow blazes, never a fun thing. Putting up red, no trespassing signs. Remember that, Buzz? Not a fun day. But blessing in disguise. Because here we are 15 years later, and we worked with, I wrote down some notes here, just so I wouldn't lose this. We had 13 transactions, land transactions to get to this point. Of those, by the way, 10 donations, 1 bargain sale, and 2 purchases. So 10 out of 13 donated properties, and 1 was partially donated. So that comes from landowners who are willing to work with us. Every one of these landowners was willing to work with us, had to work with us. It wasn't like it was on the market, we said, oh, we're the highest bidder, we're gonna go grab that and bid for that and do that. No, it's not the way it worked. So it took relationship building, friend building, time. And Bob, okay, look at the camera because Bob's gonna watch this on film. No one was more instrumental than Bob Roche in this process. He just, whenever we were like, oh, boy, we've been working up there, spending a lot of time up there, go do something else. Bob was on the phone, Bob sent an email, Bob sent a letter via pigeon, whatever it was. He definitely, he got our attention, he kept pushing us. And when we were like, oh, we're just sort of stuck, he would find a way through. A lot of that was talking to his neighbors and figuring out, you know, how might this person want to work with us? And he had good relationships there. So we'll forever be indebted to Bob Roche for making this happen. He also put his money and his land where his mouth is. He ended up donating a huge chunk of property that is now the Roche Preserve. And you'll get a chance to see him. He's going to talk a little bit right at the ribbon cutting, so shake his hand on your way past as you start the trail today. A lot of other landowners it took. Some are related to Bob, and some of them are here today. So I would like, if they're in the house, and I see one over here, Jim Dillon. Jim? We're going to be walking on Jim's land today. Where is Butch? Butch Clendenning? Butch?
Coming in earlier.
I saw him here, but he must have left. What's that? Okay, they'll meet us out there. You'll be watching on Butch and Gail Clendenning's land today too. You'll see them. You'll likely see them today as well. And Bob isn't here. Who else do we have in the crowd? Did Gail Clendenning make it?
Gail's supposed to be with us.
She'll be out there as well. Okay. Well, you'll be meeting some of these landowners as you walk across their land and take them because they are willing to share that with you, right? General public. Otherwise, we would have no trail through there. So 15 years later, 13 transactions with, how many landowners did we end up with? With 9 different landowners to make this happen, to close it back up. Otherwise, you'd be walking 3.5, 4 miles on the road today. So as you walk out there today, walking on the folks' land, and you realize that you may not be, or you may be, and this goes anywhere on the trail, not just here in Rib Lake, but you're walking out there, obviously be respectful of their property. They love it. That's why they're letting you see it. So get out there today, have some fun, enjoy the brand new reopened Rib Lake segment. And I'll call up Dave.
It was always fun talking with Kevin because he would let us know about what's coming next. Which parcel do we need next to work on this? And so then we can start dreaming about how we're going to tackle this next project. So thank you, Kevin, for all of your work in this. Who here has volunteered on this new section of trail over the years? Awesome. We started the trail construction process on this in 2015 and 2016. And we built the first mile and a half of trail to show our investment in this. We didn't have a way out yet, but we were committed to pushing through. So we built a mile and a half of trail that hasn't been open until in about half an hour. So it's really great to be able to do that. And then we picked up the pace the last 2 years. We had 5 projects to complete it. In April this year, we were building a boardwalk, a bunch of boardwalks, and we woke up Sunday morning with a half a foot of snow on the ground. So this is welcome weather. So there's been countless, we had a couple folks out yesterday who were categorizing and collecting all the data for all of our structures that we built out there. In between kiosks and bridges, boardwalks, stone steps, I think there was 82 structures, I think, or something like that. So it's pretty amazing. And a lot of those things take multiple days, or as one case, about 8 or 10 days. But so it's been a fun journey, and the weather didn't cooperate with us this week as well as we thought. So the trail's going to be a little muddy. There's some finishing touches we'll need to do, some signage things, but the blazes are at least tacked up. We have a crew working this week to complete everything, so be safe out there and enjoy all of your work. So thank you all.
Good to see everyone again. It's been a long time. Thank you for making it out here for the best part, the hike part. And before we go, I have the honor and privilege to introduce some very special people. But before I do, I need to tell you a story. So I was talking last night in the line with Butch Clendenning, and he gave me permission to use this line. But we were talking and standing there, and who's going to introduce who and what's going to happen. And he said, there's something really important that we need to understand, which is there are hundreds of volunteers and thousands of hours that made this happen, but we could have taken any of those volunteers out, and some came and some left, and we still would have got this project done, right? But there are 2 people here that if they weren't here, we would never be doing what we're doing today. When I walked through here on a thru hike 20 years ago, I had the privilege of walking through these hills and these trees, the hemlockeries, found on the property. We're trying to coin that term. But I was on the ski trails, and I kept looking at the hills, and I thought, this is such a beautiful place. I never thought I'd be able to come back, hike it again, and say, I'm so glad we had to redo this. It's even better now, and it really is, thanks to the work of all the volunteers, and of course, the 2 people that sit here next to me. So it is my privilege and honor to introduce you to Ann and Bob Rush. Bob is going to say a few words, but Bob, before you get out of the chair, I have something for you and Ann. So we have a book we passed around the last couple of days. People wrote notes to you, sharing some of their thoughts.
Oh, very nice.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Let me give this to Ann so it doesn't get lost.
Well, good morning, everyone. You are about to make trail history right here. This is going to be the first time in the history of the Ice Age National Trail that a trail segment has been open to the public and dedicated twice. The first time was 35 years ago. And as you all know, 15 years ago, a landowner exercised his right to revoke permission for the trail. And the good news is that that forced us to go out and look for a new route, and the new route is 10 times more scenic and spectacular. And I want to pay special attention to those landowners. Steve Peters, the Scheithauer family, Dennis and Kathy Scheithauer, Bev and Bob Butler, Kyle Patrick, and this is the person Cindy Hankey.
Chris and Rodney.
Oh, by the way, thank you, Ann. I've just forgotten my daughters. That's Chris and Rodney Strobach, Chris, Cindy Hankey. Then we have an individual that I have to just tell you, I swore I would not use this name because everyone is going to think it's a negative term. But I think all of you are aware that I took up ultra running. And you get a special group of friends in ultra running, including a friend whose nickname is Fat Rabbit. His real name is Steve Hobart, and he's one of the landowners that have granted permission. The other landowners include my aunt's son, Jim Dillon, thank you. Then we have Cindy, we have Buchanan, Dennis and Charles Buchanan. And then we have Butch Clendenning. Is Butch in the audience? Okay. And sister Gail. Is Gail out there? Okay. Now, that will get you out to Highway D. Now, after that point, just a little background. When we started, well, I shouldn't say we. All I can say is I had the luck back in 1972, fresh out of law school, to come to a county where no one wanted the job of district attorney. No one. So guess what? They got me. Now, we started the trail. My first contact was with Professor Adam Cahow, and Adam deserves to be mentioned because he was the very first person to lay out trail here. And our problem was, well, we didn't have any money, we didn't have any equipment, we didn't have enough volunteers, so we decided we would open the trail up to skiing. And the skiers came on board and provided wonderful volunteers, but they eventually wanted wider trails as skate skiing became popular. So we did what is now the unthinkable. We built trail with a bulldozer. And I got a nickname, Bulldozer Bob. So if you ever hike the trail west to Highway 13, that stretch, the East Lake segment, you will find is wide and bulldozed. Without further ado, I have the privilege and honor to officially, I need a little assistance here because I'm going to need assistance to get Well, without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to officially open the Rib Lake segment of the Ice Age National Scenic Trail. Now get out there and hike it.